Hi everyone, welcome to the Novelty Corner and the start of another reading vlog. This is my Battle of the Book Boxes part 2, the actual reading vlog part of this. So if you haven't seen part 1 where I actually unboxed and showed all of the boxes and the books that are going to feature in this reading vlog, I will leave the link on the screen. We already know that one box, the Booksies box, had a book that I'd already read, which was The 7 Year Slip by Ashley Poston, so I've already put that away. It had 2 lots of tea. There was an English breakfast and a chamomile tea, which I'll probably have later on today. There was also a block of chocolate, which was espresso hazelnut chocolate, which I have since gifted to my parents because I was over there today hanging out with them and my sister and Miller and having all of the baby cuddles, which was lovely. And then there was also this sparkling mineral water by Carmen Stormies. This one is apparently filtered through volcanic rock. From storming clouds to the deaths of a dormant volcano, a journey more than 30 years in the making, purified by nature, blah blah blah. Okie dokie. So I'm going to be trying this in the vlog, and that's what this vlog is going to be. It's going to be me going through my book boxes, eating any snacks, reading the books in there, and then sort of letting you know my thoughts on the boxes afterwards, after I've read everything and tried all of the goodies and, you know, giving my general thoughts. Let's try this mineral water, shall we? Tastes like mineral water, which is fine because it's really hot and I actually need to drink some more water, so this is going to go great. And tonight I am going to also start with my book addiction box. This one I've actually had the longest. So this was the one with the badge and it had the fizzy lollies, which will come in handy after dinner because I'm going to cook dinner in this vlog. I do like that we had the paracord pride bracelet. I might try and wear that this week. I'm going to put the notebook away, and tonight nearly spilt my can of drink. I'm grateful it's only water. But anyway, I'm going to try and read The Long Game by Lena Armas tonight. So that is going to be the first part of this vlog. But I've got a few things to do before then. I have to edit some videos because I did all my filming yesterday and then I was at my parents' place with my sister and I did not get any editing done while I was over there. I barely caught up on anything while I was there because baby cuddles, reading books to Miller, and then I was helping my sister make a photo book. So it's been a busy day, but days certainly go slower when you have a nearly 12-week-old hanging around who just demands attention. I will probably have some clips of me editing and making dinner a bit later on, and then I will talk to you about the book. I'm really excited about this one because this is kind of Ted Lasso-y inspired. I have showered, I've had dinner, I'm about to jump into the long game and I'm excited. I am going to be just using the hot pink tabs just to go with the title. So yeah, I will check in as soon as I have read a little bit more, and I'm just realizing how long my hair is. I need to get a haircut. I need to stop being a baby and find myself a hairdresser, a new hairdresser, so I can get my hair cut because what even is this? I finished The Long Game by Eleanor Armas and this was really fun. It is very much a slow burn. So it takes a very, very, very long time to get to the romance. But it is about Adeline, who works for a American soccer team, and she is the daughter of the owner of one of the teams, and at the very start of the book she is caught up in some controversy because she attacked the team's mascot and it has gone viral on social media. And so her father has exiled her to a very small town with a job that he wants her to do, which turns out to be supporting an under 10 girls soccer team, which she can't wrap her head around initially. And what's even more baffling to her is the fact that the coach of this team is Cameron, and he is a retired professional footballer originally from England who played a little while in the US and then just sort of retired and disappeared into this small town. And her first meeting with him is when she hits him with her car. So I was having some Tully Hibbert, actor A.G. Brown flashbacks. This book has forced proximity elements to it. It has some caretaking stuff. It has elements of hate to love. These two have a very antagonistic relationship initially, and it is also very much a story of a woman who has been gaslit by all of the men in her life. Her father is awful, her ex-boyfriend is atrocious, and she has just built up this mentality that she has to do everything and that she is responsible for everyone else's issues. And unfortunately that is something that I can relate to. So that was unsettling, but it was enjoyable. I loved the girls on the soccer team, particularly Maria, who is the one we spend most of the time with. I think she's 9 years old, and she just, you know, has some very sage advice for the adults in her life who are all acting like idiots at times. So if you like small town shenanigans, if you like soccer or football, depending on what you call it, wherever you are in the world, this is an entertaining read. It is not closed door for those who are wondering, because it is traditionally published, but there is like one scene, 2.5 scenes in the entire book, and they all take place from about here onwards. So it's that kind of romance, but still it was entertaining and enjoyable. So I will call this a success. I haven't eaten all of the lollies, mostly because I had dinner and I'm full, but yeah, I'm enjoying them. So that is technically book box 2 done. I suppose I should say I'll pop a link to the video where I read the 7-Year Slip, just so you guys can hear my thoughts on it if you haven't already. But yes, so that's technically 2 of the books done. So it is October the 30th. Please excuse the dishwasher running in the background because, you know, I'm in an apartment. You can hear everything that's going on here, and some things just need to happen. So I am back with the next book from the next box, which is my book box AU box, which was the one that was full of yummy treats that I am definitely going to be eating. The book in here was She Who Became the Sun, which this is probably way outside my wheelhouse, but we're going to try it tonight and we're going to see how we go. I'm going to be using yellow tabs to match the yellow. I don't have anything that's gold, but yellow is close enough. And I was trying to decide which snacks I'm going to try tonight. So I'm thinking I might try the hot chocolate. This is the cookie butter hot chocolate, so that might be at some point later. It's not going to be now because it's still too early. I'm probably going to dive into these Koala's Famous Candy, naturally flavored, gluten-free, etc. So these are like gummy bears, but koalas. You know what? Let's just open them now. Oh, how cute. It's a koala. There is a significant number in here. These are nice. I will probably not be eating this cookies and cream slice just because I'm not a cookies and cream person, but I'll pass it on to someone. I do have some more teas. Actually, that reminds me, I didn't try the tea last night. Maybe that means that a cup of tea needs to happen tonight. These could be fun to try. Maybe even this sour cherry and dark chocolate slice. Anyway, there's plenty of food for me to try in here. So I'll let you know how things go. And I'm just gonna start the book and see what it's about, because I really have no idea. Okay, I've just started and I've decided I want a snack, even though I've had dinner. Dinner was a repeat of last night's dinner because that was just leftovers. But they have these Byron Bay cookie milk choc chunk cookie bites. I've had Byron Bay cookies before, they're delicious, but I'll show you what they look like. Apparently I need a degree in how to open packets. Don't try this at home, kids. I can't be bothered getting up to find a pair of scissors, so we're just going to use the craft knife because that's safe but effective. So this is what they look like. They're little cookies. They're shaped like a dough ball of cookie, but very tasty. Let's do a quick update. I am 80 pages in. I am through part 1 of the story. So this is a historical story set in the mid 1300s in China, and it is the story of a young girl initially who lives with her father and her brother. They both live in a village and they are incredibly poor. They are basically starving, and then her father and brother die as a result of bandits coming through. And the only way that she survives is that she escapes to a monastery pretending to be her brother. And then sort of this whole section is just jumping through time as she is experiencing life as a novice, finally to becoming confident of the abbot of the monastery, and then eventually a monk in her own right. I still have this much to go. I was trying to work out why BookBox sent me this book in particular, because there is a sort of subplot where you can see ghosts. So there's that element. I'm interested to see how that plays out. She also has a friend who is a monk and is a couple of years older than her in the story, and I'm curious to see where that relationship goes later on. This is very much a historical reimagining. It's not fantasy, but it sort of leans into that reimagining style that you get with historical books. What I didn't realize is Shelley Parker Chan lives in Melbourne, Australia, so she's Australian, I think by way of Malaysia and New Zealand, I think I read. I think she is friends with Vanessa Len, who is an author that I read recently. So I'm wondering whether BookBox AU saw that I had read Vanessa Len, because that would have been in my Goodreads recently read list when they were scrolling through it and picked this book. Apparently this you know, a thread of romance in here, so we shall see. But it is very interesting. It's just not my usual style of book, so it's taking me a little bit longer to read. Okay, so I finished She Who Became the Sun, and I have not eaten anything else or made any drinks. Maybe later. This is a really interesting book, and I think I come at it from a couple of different perspectives, because one, not my typical book, not what I would pick up for myself generally speaking, but very well written. Like technically, like if we're simply going for the technical aspects of writing a book, it's great. It works really well. It does suffer from some pacing issues, like the first part of the book, like the first 80 pages is very fast paced, and then parts 2 and 3 are very political and military strategic focused, so they move a little bit slower. We have Ju's chapters or story, which is her rise through the ranks as she is determined to come into what she considers her right to basically lead. And you also have the opposing forces, one of their generals, Ouyang, who is a eunuch and who has suffered at the hands of the people who own him, and yet finds himself fighting for them. There is a lot of sort of maneuvering between them. Shu and Ouyang have multiple encounters during the book. They are basically enemies, but they are also allies in many ways as you get further into the book. So it's very intriguing. I don't know anything at all about this point in Chinese history, so it's interesting. Even though it's a reimagining, there are certainly elements that I know that the author has taken to incorporate in here that is based off the history of this time period. So yeah, it's interesting. Is it my favorite thing ever? No, but that's not because it's not well written. It's simply because it's not my preferred genre of book. I'm glad I read it, because this is not something I would have picked up otherwise. If this is your thing and you're participating in the Australian Readathon, here's another book you could try. All right, so I'm gonna get on with the rest of my night's jobs. I'm gonna write some reviews. Good morning, friends. It is October 31st. I have my Halloween earrings on. I'm getting ready to go to work. And I have my cat and dog sugar skull dress on. This is a really terrible angle. That's because everything else is a mess. Happy Halloween. Hi guys, so it is now Halloween night and I've had dinner. You would have seen my burger. I cooked it, but I did not make it. As in, I didn't make the burger patties. My mum did that ages ago and gave me a whole stack of them for the freezer. So that was a nice treat for myself tonight, where I just had to cook it and make myself a burger. It was delicious, by the way. Would recommend. But it has been a long day. But now I am ready to read. We are going to be reading the last book for this vlog, which is the book from my Romance Cartel Literati subscription. So it is this special edition of Love Me Today by A.L. Jackson. It's gorgeous sprayed edges, look at those, they're so pretty. There was a tote and a sticker, and the bookmark is in here somewhere. I did put it in here the other day. And the lovely bookmark. So, I have no idea what this book is about. We're gonna find out. At least it's a romance, so there is that. The rest of it is just packaging stuff. The good thing about reading all of these books means I can clear out the boxes, because I seem to just acquire boxes. Anyway, I still have the snacks from yesterday. Also, I did get a review copy in the mail today, which was kind of exciting. This one came from Hachette. Yes, Hachette Australia. It is Lauren Ash's new book, Love Redesigned. So guess that's being added to the November TBR. Like I needed any more books on that TBR. And I say that like this vlog isn't coming out in the second week of November. Timing is everything, guys. Timing is everything. Also, I forgot to say, tonight's beverage of choice is this T2 Watermelon Fiesta Iced Watermelon and Mint Flavored tea. I put it in the fridge yesterday. This came in the BookBox AU box. Didn't drink it yesterday. So we're gonna drink it tonight, which this could be interesting because I just had a mint. But it says it's got mint flavor, so maybe that'll cancel everything out. I've actually seen these in the store and I have not tried them yet. Interesting. Very watermelony. I don't know why I thought it would be fizzy. Maybe because it's in a can. It's not fizzy, it's just tea. Okay, time to read. So I finished Love Me Today, which turns out to be a romantic suspense, and I was like, I don't know if this is romantic suspense or possibly dark light romance, but it is romantic suspense. I just checked, because that would have been sensible to do in the first place. So this is a small town romance with a billionaire who is in hiding. It says single dad, it's single uncle who has custody of said small child. I don't have an issue with that I just wish that they would advertise it as that instead of single dad. Anyway, or single guardian or whatever. That's a rant for another day. So we have Caleb, who is taking care of his sister's daughter Evelyn, who is 5 and is absolutely adorable and precious. They are living on a very fancy ranch in Colorado. I think it's Colorado. And Paisley, who is the heroine of the story, is a very wild, live life gregariously kind of character. She has been hired to help teach Evelyn how to look after and ride a horse that is on the property. The very first meeting between Caleb and Evelyn is when she backs into his car and discovers that he is a very grumpy asshole who needs therapy badly. Their relationship is very much a hate to love, up and down, all over the place. To his credit, Caleb is not quite monosyllabic, but he's pretty close. So, as it turns out, he is the CEO of his family's company and has been involved in some shady business in the past. And he is convinced that it is someone who has a grudge on him that killed his sister, leaving him with guardianship of Evelyn. And he's determined to find out who it is. And weird things start happening on the property, and the reason for all of this may or may not be what he thinks it is. It's very much a Grumpy Sunshine story. It was a fairly fast-paced and easy to read book. If you like small-town romantic suspense, it's probably one that you could try, although again, this author has a very interesting writing style. I don't know if it's specific to this book or if it's just her writing style, in that just some of the turns of phrases weren't bad, but just took me a hot minute to sort of work them out, because some of the characters were very much talking in a way where you get their thoughts distilled down to the very basic components, which is fine. It's not bad, and it's not bad to read. It was just different. I enjoyed this one. It was fun, which basically means that now that I'm at the end of reading all of my books, you know, this is the Battle of the Book Boxes vlog. What do I think? So I think a couple of different things. Romance Cartel's Literati box is a really great one if you just want special edition books that you really don't find anywhere else. Like even the big American, US, Northern Hemisphere, UK book boxes that are doing romance books aren't doing special editions of indie books like this. So I mean, this is pretty unique to Australia in terms of the books. You're very rarely going to get a double up in this box with anyone anywhere else. And I think even though it has a higher price point and sort of less items, because the Literati subscription is the pared back subscription that Romance Cartel has, they do have a full book box. This one is literally a book and a couple of very small items. You know, the quality of the books is great, the foiling is great, the detailed on the sprayed edges is always really fun. For the price point, you are paying for a special edition book. Pretty sure just about all, well, not all of them, but most of them, I'm just looking down at the ones that I already have, the majority of them have been hardbacks. If you're looking for something that you're not going to get a ton of random items for, but you are going to get a really nice special edition book, it's pretty good. You also do get a heads up on what the book is coming, so you can skip the month if you like. So like from a special edition standpoint, that's a pretty good option. I think if we're talking about which box I enjoyed the items of the most, it's probably going to be Bookbox AU, just because they gave me a whole lot of food. Let's be honest, they gave me snacks. And I'm at the point in the year where snacks are just giving me life. Do I think Bookbox AU matched me with a book that 100% fit my taste? No, but I'm also not convinced that that is entirely their fault, because my reading is very eclectic, and while I probably have said pick me a romance, I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt and did put a lot of options in my survey. But given how historical and how fantasy leaning it was, I think that the matchup of the book was probably not necessarily the best fit for me. It wasn't about, as I said yesterday, it wasn't a bad book. I definitely enjoyed it, but you know, book-wise, it was interesting. That said, I did order their Christmas box, so they will be getting a second chance to see if they can, you know, pick a book, or it might even be 2 books that better align with my taste. But yeah, I mean, if they're going through my Goodreads at any point, and I don't know, maybe they are, maybe they're not, I can understand how difficult it would be for them to go through things and find things that would actually fit me that I haven't read yet. I mean, really the best book that came in here was The 7-Year Slip, which I'd already read, so I didn't reread it for this vlog. The items in that box though, I think are very specific. Do I think it's necessarily worth it? Maybe, maybe not. Every now and then it might be okay. and the other box was Book Addiction, which had a really great book. Like, it was a traditionally published book. It was really fun. I think that has the lowest price point of all of these boxes, so like that's a pretty solid option. They also do have other book box options. So do I have a favorite? Not necessarily. I think it really comes down to what your preference is. Like, as I said, I'm really eager to see if BookBox AU on the second go around to see how that goes, because I think that will give a better comparison. I am going to continue to say subscribe to Literati for at least the next little while. I've got to try and read some of the other books since I own them now. But you know, this was a really great opportunity to dive into one of their books pretty soon after receiving it. So maybe I'm too nice and I can just find the positives and the negatives in all of the boxes. This was kind of fun, bit of an experiment. As always, I will leave links to everything down below. So if you want to find out more about the books, I'll have the Goodreads links in the description. I will also have the links to the book subscription services if you're interested in exploring them and finding out more. If you've read any of these books, I would love to talk to you about them down below. Otherwise, feel free to leave a soccer ball emoji or a football, whatever you want to call it, in the comments. I hope that wherever you're on the world, just staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye everyone.